Welcome to today's explainer. We are jumping right into the science behind the DASH diet. And honestly, it's pretty mind-blowing how this specific combo of foods can literally control hypertension just as effectively as some prescription meds.
But before we get into the hard data, we really have to ask ourselves, can what is on our plate actually rival a prescription pad? Hypertension is one of the most stubborn public health challenges out there. But today, we're going to see exactly how evidence-based nutrition fights back and wins.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the silent health crisis. Second, enter the DASH diet. Third, how it actually works. Fourth, the scientific evidence. And finally, adapting for real life. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The silent health crisis.
Hypertension is an absolute master of disguise. It develops totally silently, completely void of any obvious symptoms. I mean, you might feel 100% fine while your vascular system is taking a beating year after year. Sure, it's driven by aging and genetics, but it's really supercharged by modifiable things like physical inactivity, obesity, and way too much dietary sodium.
And the stakes here, they are incredibly high. Unchecked pressure doesn't just give you a headache, it drives massive systemic damage. We are talking stroke, heart failure, accelerated atherosclerosis, and chronic kidney disease. It can literally even damage your retinas. Catching this early with dietary management is just infinitely better than waiting for organ damage to finally sound the alarm.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the DASH diet. So DASH actually stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. And let's be clear right up front, this is not some restrictive, miserable fad diet. No way. It's a scientifically engineered, highly flexible eating pattern designed specifically to bring down blood pressure and boost your overall cardiometabolic health. In practice, it's just beautifully balanced. It leans heavily into nutrient-dense whole foods. Think vegetables, fruits, whole grains, low-fat dairy, and legumes. And by emphasizing these nutritional powerhouses, it naturally crowds out the usual suspects that drive up blood pressure. So you're drastically limiting saturated fats, added sugars, and heavily processed foods without feeling like you're starving.
Now, the real magic number you want to remember here is 1,500. While the standard sodium limit is usually around 2,300 milligrams a day, dropping it down to 1,500 milligrams absolutely supercharges the blood pressure benefits, especially if you happen to be salt sensitive. And here's a wild fact, your salt shaker? Not the main villain here. The vast majority of our sodium is actually hiding in plain sight inside processed foods, breads, and restaurant meals.
Moving on to Section 3. How it actually works.
So, what's going on under the hood? Well, the most immediate mechanism is this powerful cascade effect. Step 1, you lower your sodium by swapping processed foods for fresh ones. Step 2, your body naturally reduces its extracellular fluid volume. And Step 3, less fluid means less vascular pressure. It's a simple, direct, and just incredibly effective chain reaction.
But hey, cutting sodium is really only half the story. And this is where the science gets super fascinating. Adding potassium-rich foods like fruits and legumes actively helps your kidneys excrete that excess sodium, while simultaneously helping to relax your blood vessels. It's like a built-in pressure release valve. It truly is a synergistic orchestra. Calcium and magnesium step in to support smooth muscle relaxation in your vascular system. Then, antioxidants and phytonutrients sweep in to reduce oxidative stress and improve endothelial function. Meanwhile, all that high fiber promotes a thriving gut microbiome. You see, these nutrients don't act alone. They team up to create a profoundly heart-healthy environment.
All right, Section 4, the scientific evidence. We have decades of rock-solid consensus on this. It all started with a landmark trial back in 1997, which proved DASH lowers blood pressure even before major sodium reductions were introduced. Fast forward to 2001, and the DASH sodium trial proved that combining the diet with a low-sodium approach was the ultimate knockout punch. And today, massive meta-analyses consistently confirm its broad metabolic benefits across all sorts of diverse populations.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, Adapting for Real Life.
The source material makes one thing abundantly clear. DASH is not a branded meal plan or some 30-day quick fix. It is a sustainable, lifelong framework. Let's face it, if a diet is too expensive, boring, or culturally mismatched, it simply isn't going to survive the real world.
Let's be real for a second. People face legitimate barriers. We're talking hidden sodium, tight grocery budgets, crazy busy routines, and complex medical needs. For example, patients with advanced kidney disease actually have to be super careful and monitor the high potassium found in the DASH diet. This is exactly why dietitians and healthcare professionals are so vital in tailoring this framework to you specifically.
A skilled dietitian can adapt DASH to diverse cuisines by modifying, not replacing, a person's food culture. And that is incredibly empowering. For instance, you can easily adapt a traditional South Asian diet where rice or chapati are central. You don't erase the culture at all. You simply control portions, add more veggies, legumes, and lean proteins, and just use a bit less salt. It's all about improving the quality of an existing pattern so it is culturally acceptable and totally sustainable for the long haul.
We now know for sure that food isn't just fuel. It's a scientifically proven, synergistic tool to protect your heart and fight off a silent threat. So the only question left is, how will you adapt this powerful pattern to fit your own life? What is one small, sustainable change you can make to your plate today? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.